Wait, what? Harvard can't take international students anymore? Are all Ivy League banned now? And what is this new announcement by the White House?
That's exactly how this Harvard versus Trump administration news is being projected in the media. However, the reality is way different. So what has happened is the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security in America, has temporarily revoked Harvard's SEVP, which stands for Student Exchange and Visitor Program, which is basically the F1 visas by which students go to America and they study. So Harvard's privilege of enrolling international students has been temporarily challenged.
But what actually happened?
So what happened this year in April 2025, DHS requested Harvard to give information. In fact, I wouldn't say requested, I would say demanded of Harvard to give information on the students who were on visa and who were involved in the violent protests and demonstrations regarding, let's say, different political matters. However, according to DHS, Harvard did not cooperate. According to them, Harvard did not give proper information, complete information. So they accused Harvard of having an unsafe environment. And so they revoked their privilege of enrolling international students. However, Harvard also did not back down. As a counterattack, Harvard sued the Trump administration, calling their move unconstitutional, calling it a misuse or a violation of the First Amendment, or misuse or lack of use of due process, which means that things were not legally done, or the student rights or the academic freedom was being challenged. And that makes Harvard's case very strong. That is why a federal judge who's involved in all these matters has now temporarily blocked the DHS order. That means there's nothing to worry as such. It's a wait and watch situation going on. So if it is something being challenged of Harvard, then naturally it might in the later run come up with all the universities in USA. Like international students might just not be admitted that easily in American universities.
Right. But doesn't America, it does the parliamentarian discussions like India?
So now that's where the interesting part of the presidential system in America is. They also have a parliament where discussions happen. However, the president there has the executive order, let's say, authority. That means president can bypass the parliament, the Congress, temporarily using certain agencies. For example, this time it bypassed the Congress with the help of DHS, and the instruction and the order was passed via that.
So how, we as parents and the other parents who are looking forward to Harvard, how they should look at the situation?
Harvard or Ivy League or whatever, I think there are short-term and long-term implications both. Parents are going to rethink about their decision of sending their children to America, because it looks like with the last recently deportations and now this, it looks like an unstable visa area. The foreign policy seems unstable. I think we should be hopeful about it, because what is Harvard is nothing but a filter which picks out students on, let's say, who are economically wealthy or who's academically elite or who can be prospective global leaders. So nowadays we're anyway talking about the Indian way of doing things, whether it's a soft trade or the Operation Sindoor or the surgical strikes or our commerce and trade. So maybe it's high time, it's the right time India could have an Indian Harvard. Why can't we do that?